New scenarios are emerging as permutations to select a running mate for the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, intensifies. Now, individuals like the Rivers State Governor Wike, former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, and Senator Ben Bruce are the new ones being added every day to the list, growing list of potential VP candidates to Atiku Abubakar, including Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, Udom Emmanuel, Godwin Obaseki, Anyim Pius Anyim, and some people are even saying that the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, should be brought back to be added to this list. Now, this is as the Southeast has made a very strong case for compensation with the slot of Vice President or a running mate, saying that PDP could not deny the zoning of the tickets earlier on, but that this time around they want a situation that like it happened in 2019 can repeat itself, where you will have Atiku from the Northeast and then of course a vice presidential candidate from the Southeast. Well, for more on this, I'm now being joined in the studio by the immediate past National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Kola Ologbondiyan. Thank you so much, Kola.
Thank you very much.
The last time we had you here.
You're doing a great job here.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I just enjoy and the decision of the APC.
Yeah,
and as you can see, this APC is already going into extinction.
Yeah, well,
extinction showing clearly that the PDP is going to emerge in the next election.
Well, and some persons have actually said that you've set a standard for them in terms of the National Convention, and they are waiting to see if APC would actually follow the same procedure of trying to ensure
they will find it. Yesterday, I was engaged in a discussion with the former president of the Senate on the outcome of the National Convention, and I met Senator David Mark. And I said,
who was the chairman of
the last National Convention. And I said it will be extremely, extremely difficult for the All Progressives Congress to achieve what the PDP had achieved at that National Convention. Because by nature, the two parties are totally different from each other. The PDP is more organized and is more structured than the All Progressives Congress. And as such, I do not expect anything out of
even with what Nigerians are saying that APC and PDP are almost the same.
I had always challenged that assertion. We can never be described as the same party. And Nigerians can see, you just listen to two members of the party coming on air before the entire nation and saying that their party is not just it, and I'm saying that their party is going to collapse. You listen to them. I watch them out here. So, will you compare that with a political party like the People's Democratic Party, where all our issues are taken indoors and treated as family affair matters? Yeah,
but that's because you are in the opposition. When the PDP was in power, we had all of this.
No, we didn't have it as bad as this.
Okay.
And as you know,
Nigerians are
our system is evolving.
Our
system is evolving. And because the system is evolving, PDP, as the oldest political party, expectedly, is more matured and is conducting its affairs in a manner that demonstrates that if they are in government, things could not have been as worse as it has become in the last 7 years.
And what was the secret behind that successful National Convention by David Mark, who ensured everything went as and when due, despite the earlier threat? I mean, you could have heard Wike, Governor of Rivers, saying that if he wanted to scatter the convention, he would have done so. But somehow reason prevailed and he didn't.
That's the word. So reasoning prevailed. And that is the spirit of the People's Democratic Party. And that is why we're able to do the convention and had a successful outing. And even if you take it from the past conventions, the Port Harcourt in 2018, the new ESCO, their own convention in Abuja here, and even this last one, 3 successive conventions, which has been carefully organized, made credible, made peaceful, made transparent, and made free and fair, and accepted by participants and contestants in the process. So give it to the People's Democratic Party. The People's Democratic Party, and even with the candidate that we have brought out now, Atiku Abubakar, these are experienced people in the political process. And that is why the PDP will always have it.
Now, did the stature of David Mark as a former 2-time Senate President help to, rein in some of these persons who may have wanted to do one of two funny things? When they look at him as a former military general, former president of the Senate twice, I mean...
When he was appointed as the chairman of the convention, many party members heave a sigh of relief because they believe that he will not be manipulatable. And he has come out to demonstrate that situation, that no one will manipulate him. We stood together at the convention ground, and we were in agreement that the process was free, was fair, was credible. And contrary to the rumor that the opposition is carrying about, I think that the decision of the party members was to have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate. And you remember when we were talking, I did tell you that nobody here can predict a winner until the end of this election, until the end of the convention. And in truth, that was what happened. Even Atiku, because I knew where your position was.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the edge all through.
It's an election.
Until Tambuwal stepped in, and you could see how his camp became calm.
It was an election. If you contest even in the election of choosing a monitor in primary school, in your classroom, you will be on edge until the result is announced, provided it's going to be by voting. So there's no issue about somebody being on edge on election day. It's natural. It's normal.
No imposition or consensus.
But at the end of the day, you didn't sit down and see one man saying that he will choose who will be the president of over 200 million people. It didn't happen.
Yeah, and your party members have been having problems with that, saying that, look, President Muhammadu Buhari's choice of words that he wants someone who will take over from him has, elicited lots of responses that people are saying that, look, he should be concerned about the presidential candidate of the APC, not a successor, because they haven't gone into the election yet.
So it shows you the fact that the All Progressives Congress and President Muhammadu Buhari have done more damage to our democratic process than anybody since 1999 till date. How, if you are a political reporter and we've been on the beat together, is it not strange to you that you will hear that a national executive committee of a political party will rise and say it has donated its own powers as the highest authority? So even if there are issues like Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and others complaining now, they don't have where to appeal to, because their political life begins in APC. It begins and stops with the National Working Committee. There's no NEC, because that NEC has already donated its powers.
And no BOT too.
No BOT. So where do you proceed to? So even President Muhammadu Buhari, and this is why I love the People's Democratic Party. It is very democratic in nature. And it will show that it has the capacity to manage its own affairs at any point in time. It has the right shock absorbers. And that is why it was strange to me when we heard that, the neck of the APC, whereas they don't have a BOT, but the neck of APC has donated its own powers to the NWC. So everything stops on Abdullahi Adamu's table. Whether they disqualify you, you don't have where to appeal to. So it's strange. And honestly, it just shows how the APC has diminished our political system, how it has become autocratic. But one thing is sure, I believe that Nigerians will not sit down and allow a government, a party that has failed in the last 7 years to now come and reimpose their failure by means of saying that the president has chosen a successor. We are in a democratic nation.
Now, a lot of Nigerians will argue with you, Kola, that the PDP is not better either. If you look at the party now, you have Wike, former deputy president of the Senate, trying to think whether he should go out of the party or not. You have your own Senate minority leader, Enyenanya Abaribe, defecting from the party in the midst of a very tough election like this. You have so many leaders, including Peter Obi with his stature, who had to leave because they feel that somehow the process of becoming a candidate in the PDP, whether the presidential or governorship or senatorial, has been obscenely monetized, if I may borrow the words of Mohammed Hayatuddin.
Let me state this very clearly to you. The various issues have their ways. They are not the same. You can't lump them together. In Enugu, the former deputy senate president desired to be the governor of the state. And there were issues about zoning in the state. And I read, and I've even spoken to people around him, as at last night, he has accepted the situation of the zoning. I saw the statement. And he has returned back to the party and has even congratulated.
But that's after trying to get into the APC, to get the APC ticket.
I'm not aware of that.
And he
has
didn't get
the candidate. In Abia, where you speak to a distinguished Enyenanya Abaribe, it's also about the issue of contestation. It's the issue about expressing one desire to vie for position. And he was in conflict with the state governor. You understand? And so we cannot lump all the cases together. We treat them on the individual basis. Mohammed Hayatuddin, who complained that, the process was monetized. It didn't get to the convention ground. So who is going to hold responsible? And I don't want to, because I've heard all sorts of things about the party, but I will know one thing for certain, that the People's Democratic Party, the party is supreme. And the party will decide where it will go.
Okay, how about Iyorchia Ayu's visit to Tambuwal, where he said that he was a hero of the convention? That statement, Kola, has been generating a lot of tension.
Was that visit?
It looks like, in the eyes of many PDP members and even Nigerians, that the process was designed to actually favor Atiku Abubakar. And that's why the national chairman, who is a friend of Atiku, could be making that statement. So
now let's also reconcile issues here, just on this table. You said Atiku was on edge until the result was counted and announced. And I said that it shows that there was an election. And that in any election, anybody would be on edge. If it had been designed, would you have saw him being on edge? The answer is no.
Weren't you uncomfortable when you saw Iyorchia Ayu making that kind of comment?
No, I will get there now. It's a process. I'm just bringing back what we just discussed, where you said that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate and the incoming president of Nigeria in 2023, was on edge. And I said, yes, it was an election.
Interesting.
Then we have shifted from there to say that Senator Iyorchia Ayu visiting the former Speaker of the House of Representatives and Governor of Sokoto State, Tambuwal, after election, shows that it was designed.
From his comments saying that Tambuwal was the hero of the convention,
it does, to me,
for stepping down for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
If election had held, results had been announced, whatever comment anybody is making is an afterthought. Before the election held, when Tambuwal made his remark and asked that his own delegates to support Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, if Iyorchia Ayu has stood up at that moment and said, oh, you are the hero, then you can accuse him of bias. Well, but after election had held, and I will even give you an insight, in the same Benue state where Iyorchia Ayu come from, his own home state, in the governorship election of 2011, if I remember very well, which was won by Senator Suswan,
Gabriel
Suswan. People rose from their feet and said they were donating their own votes to Suswan. Very transparent. You understand? It sounded strange. What? But in this circumstance, it's not as if election had held and Tambuwal said that, oh, my vote had been counted and I lost. Please return it to Atiku. If that happened, it would have been a different situation.
Okay,
but we just discussed what happened at the convention.
We don't have enough time, but I won't allow you go without asking you this question. Wike said if he had had the opportunity, he would have just scattered the convention, right? Because according to him, Governor Tambuwal shouldn't have been allowed to come back to the stage after having addressed the stage initially to make that statement.
With due respect to His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Governor Wike, and without trying in any way to engage with him, I do not think the action of Tambuwal was against any rule or against any law. Okay. According to the provisions of the party and according to the guideline of the party, I do not think so. And okay. I do not think that, and I'm happy, and I've said this even at other fora, Governor Wike has said that whoever emerges as the candidate, he will support that candidate. Right. And I know Governor Wike to be a true party man. Okay. So I'm holding to his comment that he will align himself with the decision of the party. Yeah. And I know that he has demonstrated that in the past, and he will still do it in the future.
All right. So very quickly, I've just been told that we don't have enough time, but let's look at the search for a vice presidential candidate in the PDP, a running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What are some of the parameters, having served at the NWC previously, that the party would have to look at and then the candidate will also contribute into before they arrive at one person?
First and foremost, we must accept the fact that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has emerged as a president, as a presidential candidate. I'm very confident that he will emerge as the president. He has emerged as the presidential candidate. It is first and foremost his responsibility to search for who he can work with.
Not that of the party.
Basically, he has to decide who can he work with, so that they can have a one, united, and mutual presidency after they are being sworn in on 29th of May 2023.
If he wins the election.
He will win. Didn't you listen to Aliyu and Arinze just now? Do they look like people who are working to win election?
Okay.
They have already ceded the ground to the People's Democratic Party, and we have an experienced candidate, somebody who had been in government before, who have delivered on promises before, who understands the nuances of our nation, and who is determined to win election. By May 29, you'll be part of us when we are jubilating.
Okay. Kola Ologbondiyan is a former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party and a very staunch believer in the party coming back to power in 2023.
Correct.
We can only wish you well and
much.
your party. Well, just to bring you more updates on the breaking news that we have, the All Progressives Congress has disqualified 10 presidential aspirants ahead of the party's primaries scheduled to hold between June 6th and 8th. Now, the chairman of the Presidential Screening Committee and the former national chairman of APC, John Oyegun, disclosed this on Friday in Abuja when he submitted that report. Let's listen to him.
We could have got it a little shorter, but we wanted deliberately the younger elements to surface, for them to be seen, for them to be noticed. And who knows? Who knows? We'll hand them over to the party, and it's for the party to decide who their preferred candidate will be.
Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Somna Sambo.